Hey everybody, what's up? It's about 11:58 and I have here a journal done by Revilnemesis3 or Revilnemesis3 over at the DA. And if you don't believe me, take a look. This is what he typed up on his journal, but I copied it onto WordPad and printed it out. Now, he did this 20 hours, 42 minutes ago. 20 hours, 42 minutes ago, almost a day ago. And this is what he says. The title of his journal is, "I'm tired of this." And then he puts in warning, harsh language, and possibly poor grammar ahead due to not being able to think clearly. And this is Revilnemesis3. Revilnemesis3. Let me get a swig of coffee here. Oh, it's good. Open up a drink. Get some more light in here. There we go. Now, this is Revilnemesis3. This is what he said, folks. And just to show you I'm not one-sided, I'm going to quote what he said. And believe it or not, when I read this, I actually agreed with his points. I said in the comments that I did about a few moments ago, I agree with you, the comics should be separate, without or with mandates. Everyone in the comics should be wide open. In other words, everybody should be equal. And this is what he said. This is what his journal said. This is what and what he said here, what I'm about to read to you, is why I gave that comment. And I quote, Revilnemesis3. This is what he said, and I quote, "I am so fucking tired of Archie fans blaming SEGA for how crappy the Archie Sonic comic has become. Yes, SEGA has one stupid mandate that SEGA characters can't get hurt. But do you really fucking think that without the mandate, Ian Flynn would spare Archie's characters? Well, he would. In fact, without the mandate, probably all the characters, except Sonic, would be injured or worse. SEGA Sonic fans do not wish for this. In fact, all the SEGA Sonic fans I have seen now hate the comic, if they liked it, or have an even worse opinion of the comic now. The only people who I have seen who would wish for something like this are anti-Sally people. And I'm pretty sure there are Archie fans who are anti-Sally. In fact, I have seen many anti-Sally people actually give support and hope she has changed back. And I am not lying. Some people said that Archie makes the SEGA characters look better. Let's look at the prime examples given to support that theory. Shadow the Hedgehog and Rouge the Bat. In the comics, Shadow goes crazy, takes over Mobius, and makes his dead friend the god of a religion he forces everyone to be part of. How is that better than an emo Hedgehog who can't get over the death of his friend? And I think what he's referring to is the Mobius 25 to 30 years later plotline. And then with Rouge, he goes, and I quote, "Rouge is at times a bitch in the games. But quite often shows she has a good side. Now tell me, when was the last time she has shown a good side in the comics? Well, there have been, not that many as of late, but there have been some. I am a fan of SEGA Sonic, and I never wished for this to happen. You can send a excuse me a second. Got to get another swig of coffee. Oh, it's better. You can send a silver letter. I can't pronounce those two together. Kind of like Civil War, but take the war out. Silver letter to SEGA asking them to remove the mandate. If they remember, they haven't. Or ask Archie to talk to SEGA about the mandate. Those who think it is SEGA's fault want to think Flynn is being forced to write like this. Well, he isn't. Flynn would be a bad writer either, and even without Sega's mandate, things would have gone similar because Sally's robotization was done for shock value. Now tell me, do you really think he would have not done this even if Sega didn't have the mandate? Okay, so what he's saying here, what I agree on, is when I told him the comics should be separate from what Sega does with the games, they should be. I mean, now he brought up some good points. Yes, even without Sega's mandates, we probably would have still gotten the same kind of stuff we're getting now. All right, even without the mandates. But here's the thing: this is why people feel Ian Flynn is being forced into this. In Real Revilnemesis3, I want you to listen up because I know you'll probably watch my YouTube channel. I want you to listen up. The thing is, the reason fans feel this way they feel they should blame Flynn for Sega's mandates and the fact that he's following them, is because what they were hoping for when Ian Flynn took over, and he showed a lot of promise when he took over, is an Ian Flynn that would look Sega in the eye and say, look, I appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity, Ernie. I appreciate you guys supporting the comic and everything, but guess what? Fuck your damn mandates. This is what they wanted. They wanted him to probably be gracious to Archie and gracious to Sega and say, hey, thank you for the opportunity, but then come out and say, look, but you know what? The mandates you got, fuck the mandates. That's what they wanted. This is the Ian Flynn they want. They want an Ian Flynn that's like saying, fuck the mandates, Sega. If I'm going to, let's say, roboticize Sally down the line, or turn Knuckles into Urajak down the line, or whatever, or if I'm going to de-roboticize Bunny when originally it's not supposed to happen, then I got to do that for everybody, including your Sega characters. So that's what they were hoping for. And Ian Flynn that would look Sega, would graciously be gracious and thankful to Sega and Archie Comics for giving him the opportunity to be the head writer, but also look at him in the eye and say, fuck your mandates though. If I'm going to do certain things to the comic exclusive and the SatAM/comic characters, then I got to do it to everybody else, including your game characters. I got to treat them all equally. So in other words, he could say, well, like with the whole robotization of Sally, he could say, well, if I have to roboticize Sally, then it's only fair that I roboticize Amy. Or if I roboticize Sally, it's only fair I roboticize Shadow, or I roboticize Rouge, or I roboticize Silver, or I roboticize Big, or I roboticize Blaze. That's the Ian Flynn they were hoping for. A guy that would look and say, okay, I'm going to roboticize Sally, but it's only fair that I take maybe one of the Sega characters, if not some of them, and do the same thing to them. And even with the whole Antoine issue, if Antoine has to be blown up, put into a coma like he is, then why not do that to a Sega character? That's what they want. They wanted Ian Flynn to tell Sega, thank you for the opportunity, tells Archie Comics, thank you for the opportunity, but as far as your mandate or your mandates or whatever you have over this comic, fuck it. I'm going to do things the way it should be done. I'm going to do things that puts all the characters on an equal basis. No one above anybody else. Nobody better than anybody else. Because if people think, oh, Sally is above everybody now, she's not. If Sally was above everybody else, she wouldn't have been roboticized. We all know that. The truth is, the Ian Flynn that fans want is an Ian Flynn, or they wanted and were hoping for, is an Ian Flynn that looked Sega in the eye, looked Archie Comics in the eyes, thanked them for the opportunity, but then said, you know what, if I'm going to do this, fuck your mandates, or fuck whatever you got over whatever hold you have over this comic, or whatever restrictions you have over this comic, fuck that. I'm going to do what I have to do to make this comic good, and that even if that means I got to treat everybody equally and put everybody on the same level and have similar situations, tragic situations happen to these characters, just like I mentioned just a bit ago. Like if he has to roboticize Sally, only fair he roboticizes Amy. Or it's only fair he does a robotization to Rouge. You get the point. If he has to put Antoine in a coma, it's only fair that he puts maybe a SEGA character in a coma. Again, it's only fair. It's only fitting that he does that. Now, you guys can, say what you want to about a certain previous writer, but at least he took chances with the game characters. He did. He took chances. And that's saying something. And there's a lot of people, and I know Revilnemesis3 and anybody else that has commented on his journal, anybody watching this, would agree. They would agree that it would have made more sense for SEGA to have some kind of backstory on how certain things happen in their games. I mean, there's people that complain that one of the reasons the games aren't to par right now is because they don't have no real backstory explanation. Like with Sonic, back when he got his green eyes. It's like it just came out of nowhere. It's like they didn't put no backstory in the games to say, oh, this is how he got his green eyes, or he got his new look. They didn't put no backstory of how Amy got her look redesigned. Now, I understand people will say, well, Brian, it was because they rebooted it, and anytime you have a reboot, you have to change designs sometimes for the characters. I get that. It's kind of like when you go into a new season. Let's say it's your final season, your second to final season. You decide, okay, the design the characters had for the past few seasons, we're going to change that up. And that's what they do. Sort of like with Sally. In the second season of Sally M. First season, all she had was her boots and the coal, and that was it. Second season comes around, she has pupils in her eyes. Her eyes have pupils now. She has a blue vest. Big deal. Same with Bunny. Bunny ended up getting pupils in her eyes later on in the mid part of the season, but still she got them. And you look at the redesigns of Rhoda and Antoine from the previous season to that season. I get that. And I can understand people arguing the fact that that's why Amy and Amy had the redesign that she had. That Knuckles had a bit of a redesign, Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, and had those redesigns. I get that. I understand that. But again, this is why people are kind of like divided. Because of bullshit that they look at as, not good explanations. It's like I said here. It's about the mandate deal. Well, whatever restrictions SEGA has over the comic. The fans want Ian Flynn fans want him to give the big FU and say, I'm going to do things that's going to put all the characters on an equal basis. So, that's all I have to say about it. Comment down below if you like, and I'll talk to you all later.